All morning I've been thinking about how most of you thought about a place that really matters to you, and then sketched a quick map, jotting down all the small powerful moments and stories that took place there. I'm a teacher, so of course I'm excited when I see you making use of something that I just taught. But I'm also excited to see that some of you studied and admired that strategy, but then made different choices about how to proceed with your own personal narratives. Some of you return to the strategy of thinking of a person who matters most to you, and listing small moments connected to that person. Some of you turn to other strategies you've learned over the years, and some of you moved to your seat with your story idea already in hand and just began to write. You already had your small moment story idea ready to go. Because you are in 6th grade now, I'm especially pleased to see that you are keeping in mind the real goal, to write compelling stories, to write a lot, and to make each day's story better than the days before. And you are realizing that you can and must make some decisions on how you meet that goal. Let's take a minute to share with your partner how you continue to make those important decisions for last night's homework. Open up your notebook to the fast and furious writing you did at home yesterday. Remind your partner of the goal you set for yourself at the end of yesterday's workshop. Then, share how you went about generating your personal narrative topic. Pause the video and be prepared to share. You each may want to have your own personal strategies for generating personal narrative topics chart in your notebook. Some of you have ideas that aren't even on our class chart. Listening over your shoulders, I heard some of you sharing the strategy of generating quick lists of your first and last times you did something. I went ahead and added that strategy to our class chart, but you also reminded me that some first and last times are especially powerful because they are moments when you realize something important. The strategy of remembering when you have realized something is worth tucking in your toolkit of strategies. Today, I want to teach you another strategy that helps people write powerful true stories, jotting moments that have really mattered. Although they could be first and last times, what really works is to think about moments when you learned something important about yourself and other people in life. Then write the whole story, fast and furious. Let me show you how I use this strategy, thinking of times when I realized something important, because this can be a way for me to uncover the small moment stories in my life that really matter. Pay close attention to my steps, because you will be trying this work in just a minute. To start, I can ask myself, what are the moments I can recall when I realized something important? That's not so easy. I really need to think. Often the moments when you come to understand something are pretty emotional ones, so it can help to think about when you have felt strong emotions and learned a lesson as a result of it. When I think of this strategy, I think of a story of one time when my mom had called me to ask me to come home after work and let the dog out. Now, the dog in this picture is my family dog named Fremont, and he's getting pretty old, so he has to be let out quite often. Now, I told her that I could do it right after work, but unfortunately, when I left work, I completely forgot that she had asked me to do it, and I went right over to a friend's house. Then, about 2 hours after I got off work and I was at my friend's, I got a call from my mom saying that the dog hadn't been let out and unfortunately went to the bathroom in the house, and she was wondering why I hadn't let him out. I felt horrible that I'd forgotten. I truly didn't mean to. But my mom wasn't upset. She understood that sometimes we all forget things, and she was very forgiving about the whole situation. That made me realize that I'm really lucky to have her as a role model in my life. You know, sometimes people do forget things, and it's not on purpose, and we need to forgive them for their small mistakes. So now I want you to try it. On the next page of your notebook, make a quick list of the times you realized something important. Remember to recall those times. It helped me remember moments when I felt strong emotions and learned a lesson. Writers, try to focus in on a moment when you are feeling those emotions most intensely, the moment when your realization was most accurate. If you look over your list, it looks like you are planning to tell a whole very long story. Use the margins of your list to jot the things you really understood. I suggest you make a table similar to mine. For example, one column of the first time you did something. For example, first day in 6th grade, first day in my new house, or maybe the first day with a new dog. Maybe another column of the last time, like the last time you maybe talked to a friend or the last time you saw your grandma. And then another column of times you realized something, like the time I finally stood up for myself, or I realized I have friends who will stick with me no matter what. I want you to pause the video and everyone try to come up with at least 2 or 3 examples for each of the different categories. Writers, I hope you came up with lots of different examples. Once you are set and ready to write, head back to your seats and carry on. For today, you can look over the list you just brainstormed and write one of those stories, or you might want to go back to another strategy or story idea that you've been meaning to put on paper.